All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and right here, right now, we actually got the one and only, we got the living legend, we got Wu-Tang Clan affiliate, we got Judah Priest right here, live on the line, man. How are you doing this evening?
Yo, peace. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, you are most certainly welcome, man. I gotta say, definitely a long time coming, man. I've been a fan of your craft for a long time, man, so thank you so much for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening on 97.7 FM.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Yes, it's definitely a long time coming. Glad we here.
But I gotta say, man, these past 2 years have been absolutely crazy for the entire human race, man. I have to ask, how is everything on your end during this crazy pandemic?
Oh man, to be honest with you, it's hectic for me. You know what I mean? I lost a lot of loved ones. A lot of them very close to my heart. You know, my grandmother. You know what I mean? I just recently just lost my aunt. And I just lost my cousin. Through the police. The police just murdered him out in L.A. So yeah, it's a lot going on, but I'm staying steady. You know what I mean?
I do gotta say quickly, man, my sincere condolences, man. Definitely condolences to yourself and your family.
I appreciate it.
But I know you're a busy guy, Judah, so I'm going to dive right into this broadcast, man. But I want to take you back to the beginning of your amazing, legendary career this far, man. And I have to ask, what originally made you decide to pursue a career within the music industry initially?
You know what? I get asked that a lot, and it's hard for me to even, you know what I mean, to really answer that. I've always been around it. You know what I mean? Music, whether it's music or poetry or any, even with acting, I've always been around it. I was an athlete first. I played basketball and football from AAU all the way up to City Pro and Pro Sports. But what made me focus on the music aspect was I kept getting injured doing sports. You know what I mean? And it was just like, yo, you can't get injured rapping. So, and my brother, my brother's actually Buddha Monk from Brooklyn Zoo. You know what I mean? He was coming back to the States because he was in Iceland for a little bit. And, a couple days after I made it, like I'm going hard with, the music. He was just coming back to New York, and I picked him up from the airport. We went straight to the studio, and then just went off to the races.
And also as well, man, at the age of 19, you actually became a member of Chamber Music Records, man, where you actually worked alongside G-Clef. I was wondering, how did yourself and G originally get connected? And of course, what was it like just working at that label at such a young early age?
Man, G-Clef, man, the story would be G-Clef. G-Clef gave me that chance when nobody else wanted to. You know what I mean? So, I just seen his website, chambermusic.com. I seen everything they was doing, and I was just really trying to get my music on the site. You know what I mean? And he invited me out. And like I said, just like everything else, it was just off to the races.
And I got to say as well, man, you did some phenomenal work back then as well, man. I noticed as well that you were very early on, very heavily infused within the Wu-Tang Clan camp, man. Who was one of the very first Wu-Tang Clan members you actually had the opportunity to work alongside?
Outside of my brother, outside of Buddha, Killer Priest gave me the nod. You know what I'm saying? Like, we did a lot of building together. We didn't connect lyrically on things till later on. But the first Wu-Tang song I ever done was with Holocaust. We did the Theater of Pain song. Actually, you know what? That's a lie. Me and Buddha, like Buddha's the first. 'Cause again, that's my brother, like blood related. That's my brother. So when I picked him up from the airport, he was my other little brother, Young Bud, aka Mother Beats. The Chamber Music Camp, there was Hel Cheeto, my man Dela. You know what I mean? Like, we better now, but there was a brief beef. And they start talking about my brother on YouTube. And like, YouTube ain't what it was. Like, back then, it's not what it is now. And we went directly to the studio. We laid out the song. We left the studio like 5 in the morning. I got back home like 8 in the morning. And by the time I woke up at 10, 11 o'clock, The song was up on all the blog sites like Hip Hop Game, hiphop.com, all that. And I got a lot of feedback off of, you know what I mean, my lyricism from the fans. So that's what generated. But outside of that song, I did the Theater of Pain song with Holocaust and American Poets. And then from that, I did the song with Capadonna. What was it? Grungy Remix.
And I gotta say as well, man, you know, your brother is such a talented individual, man. You can never go wrong with Brooklyn Zoo, in my personal opinion.
Yeah. Buddha puts that. He puts that A plus in work ethic. You know what I mean? And it comes so naturally for him. You know, and I credit him a lot with how I handle the business. Because he wanted me to be more than an artist, you know what I mean? He wanted me to be the artist, but he also wanted me to be the businessman. He wanted me to be the engineer. So he taught me a lot outside of just being a lyricist.
And also as well, in the summer of 2011, you actually released your very first mixtape titled The Year of the Priest with DJ Rob Lowe. I was wondering, can you tell our listeners a bit more about this very first mixtape of yours? And of course, what was it like just working alongside Rob on this particular project?
Well, actually, that mixtape came out in '05. 11 is when I decided to put it up on more sites because I was still doing things independently outside of the chamber music and everything. But Rob Lowe, like, yeah, he's my second DJ, but he's the first major DJ that I worked with. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and we still tight to this day. I actually just talked to him. You know what I mean? But that, you know, I wasn't really hip to the mixtape game like that. I didn't really like it like that. You know, like 50 and G Unit made mixtapes what it was at that time. So it was just like you had to put a mixtape out just to, you know what I mean, get buzz for the album. You know what I mean? But that whole process, you know, Rob walked me through. And also Eka Quinos from NYC Management. That was my manager at the time who linked me and Rob. So they taught me that whole mixtape game.
And I gotta say as well, it definitely was a phenomenal mixtape, man. I gotta say, it's definitely a phenomenal project to really get your name out there, man. I gotta say, back in the day, there's not one song on that tape that I didn't skip.
And yo, the ironic thing is, I actually just listened to that mixtape today for the first time after all these years.
I gotta say,
I like to listen back and see my growth. You know what I mean?
And I gotta say, it's definitely some substantial growth, man. But you know what? Those earlier projects are just as good as the new ones as well.
Yes, I agree.
And also as well, you were actually a member of 144,000 Chosen Few, man. I was wondering, what is the story behind this group? And of course, what actually made you guys decide to come together to form the Chosen Few?
Well, actually, I'm the creator, the architect, and the owner of 144,000 Chosen Few, 144,000 Chosen Few LLC, with all the subsidiary branch offs. I mean, it was always something that I wanted to do. I mean, we went through numerous members just to get to this point. You know, we just recently released our debut album last year, and we actually getting ready for a new release with all the family members. You know, just like how Wu-Tang did it with the Killer Bees album, Swarm, and all that. You know, I'm doing the same thing with 144. But you know, I just got a lot of my day ones, a lot of my friends, people I call my family. You know, who sharing this musical journey with me. You know, and just to put something amazing out.
And I got to say, the one tape that I really enjoyed was actually the mixtape that you guys actually put out in back in 2016, titled "The Day the Earth Stood Still." I was wondering if you can you tell us a little bit more about this particular record, and of course, is it still available to be streamed or purchased today? Because I got to say, that mixtape was absolutely perfection in my opinion.
Oh man, thank you. Yeah, it's still up. It's still up on sites. I can't say which particular sites it's on. I know it's also on the 144 website, and that's currently down to be back up on Friday due to construction of the site, the revamping. And that's 144,000showsofew.com. You know, all the music from the mixtapes to the solo albums, to the group album, everything will be on there.
And I gotta say as well, the one song that I really enjoyed was actually, I believe it was like, I think track 2 or 3, actually, Back at It, man. That's always my go-to joint when I slide in that record.
Oh wow, well, yeah, you just took me back. You just took me back. That was a fun record. And you know, a lot of that music was created. A lot of that music was just created out of just sitting in the studio and somebody just threw on a beat, and we just all. There was like no concept, no theme. You know what I mean? And it was just fun making it. And then that's what you got. That was part of the process, though. That the process.
And I gotta ask, before we actually move off the topic of Chosen Few, I know you said you guys actually just recently released your first official studio album, but I have to ask, is like, what is next for you guys as a group, like as a Chosen Few? Do you guys got anything currently in the works right now?
Well, yeah. Well, April or May. Actually, I'm gonna say towards the end of April, early part of May. The 144,000 Chosen Few, the Hive album, will be officially released on my label on 144 Records, Humac Distribution, Sony Orchard. And like I said, it's going to have all the family members, not just the original 10 members. You know what I mean? So you'll get to see some of the beginning stages of the offshoot members, like Seven the Panther, my man Apostle, Sin, HMD, A Game. It's a conglomerate album.
And I gotta say, it definitely sounds like a phenomenal project. Do you guys actually know the estimated release date for that, or is it currently right now up in the air?
I'm going to say it's currently up in the air, but I'm going to say the first week in May.
And also as well, November 10th of just last year, 2021, you actually released the phenomenal 18-track album titled The Last Goodbye. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this record, and of course, where can we actually buy or stream ourselves a copy of that particular joint today?
Yeah, that's my new release. Um, that was the project. Me myself, my man Ease on Fire, and the Blacksmith. We opened up a studio out in Jersey, and that's the first album that came out. As far as the product was from that studio, it took about a good year and a half to create. So we was locked in day and night every day, we worked on like 300 songs. And then the pandemic hit, so we continued to make more songs, and it was just it took me back to my first album, Valley of Kings, where it just wasn't me. Like, you know what I mean? Like some of the projects, like Day After Tomorrow, Dark Ages, and things like that. It was just me. It was just me coming up with the concepts. This time around, just like Valley of Kings, what me and Buddha Monk did was just have a group setting, and it's everybody's input. And then I was able to get contributions from Buddha Monk, Sean Wiggs from Theodore Unique Wu-Tang Clan, Shogun Assassin from Killer Army, Bloodsport, Mike Hands, Sonny Brown, Napoleon the Legend, Jux Diamond. So, and it cut like a lot of 144 members, so it was a conglomerate of people who just was in the process of, of this particular project.
And I gotta say as well, I'm actually going to be giving the listeners a taste of this record as well. So if they haven't had the opportunity to stream or even purchase this project yet, I'm actually going to be playing your song Kingdom Come immediately following this interview, man, to give them a little taste of that album. That way, hopefully, if they like what they hear, they can actually go out and stream this phenomenal project.
Oh man, thank you. Kingdom Come is one of my favorite songs because it actually takes me back to the '90s of the gritty sound. We wanted to make sure like that muddy sound from old cassette tapes was in that particular song, man. So I got a lot of love for that song.
I gotta say, it's definitely my favorite joint off that project, man. So I knew when I was interviewing you, I'm like, yo, man, I gotta play Kingdom Come immediately following this broadcast. It only seems fitting.
Oh man, I appreciate it.
But also as well, April 14th of 2022, I actually noticed that you will actually be a celebrity guest at the Road to the Big Ticket concert. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about this up-and-coming event. And of course, where can we actually purchase or sell some tickets if we're going to be in the area come April 14th?
April 14th. Wait, you just hit me with something new. The road to the big ticket. First I'm hearing about that.
Okay, I actually I saw that on Instagram with actually your name on it, man. So I hope I'm not getting anybody in trouble, but at the same time, I'm
Well,
glad I brought that to
so
your
my
attention.
wait, was it on my Instagram?
I believe so, or someone actually had you tagged in it.
Mm.
Because when I do my research, I
Wait,
always
wait,
make
wait.
sure I dig. I find some stuff that people are surprised about.
Wait, hold up. Is that the one? Oh, you know what? No, yeah, I'm just a celebrity. I know what event that is. Yo, shout out to Force to be reckoned with, entertainment. And shout out, my man DJ Live Wires for Wu Tang Radios. This is actually the event, featuring Mozzie and Rusty Jux from Duckdown. So yeah. I'm gonna be in the building, supporting them, but also supporting my cousin RGE Jones. Supporting my 144,000 Chosen Few South artists, Nova 20, and King Flow.
I gotta say, it definitely sounds like a phenomenal event, man. You know, it definitely has a stacked card, man. So I'm not gonna lie, I wish I was out there, man. So I hope everybody turns up that night.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good night, man. And, I know, Rusty Jux is a legend. You know what I mean? He's been doing it for a mad long time. You know what I mean? And staying consistent. And Mozzie is just one of them new age artists that just took over, and he's flaming hot. You know what I mean? So for this particular event to go down to Virginia, you know what I mean, it's definitely going to be a good all around well balanced show.
But I gotta ask, other than the new projects you guys are currently working on, and of course this big ticket concert, what is next for yourself, Judah Priest, man? Is there anything we happen to miss during this broadcast? Anything else you do still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still got you here live on 97.7 FM this evening.
Um, well, I'm actually back in the studio. I'm working with my man Vito, out in the UK, out in Sweden actually. We working on a project right now. I just did some collaborations with a Swedish artist by the name of Elephant. I actually just did a new record with Triple C's from Terror Squad. You know what I mean? So yeah, my focus is really getting back. You know what I mean? Getting back on the ball with my solo music, um, and continuously just bringing more music in all different elements, man. Like and I'm back on tour with the 144 South and 144 tour right now. So yeah, I mean, I'm just staying busy. Got a couple of TV things in the works. Shout out to Surviving Philly TV's new reality show. Couple movies too. Just if everybody everybody who's listening, check out the account which is on Amazon Prime by Mike Massive. I co-starred in that. You also can check out the 95 series. It's on YouTube. It's a web series. And you can check out Hellraiser from Sons of Men's documentary that's on Amazon Prime and IMDb, entitled Risen, the Sharon Hellraiser Smith story. Also had an appearance in that.
And I have to ask as well, when you said you had an appearance as well, do you actually feel like you want to get back into more acting as well after you did that appearance, or is that just something was a one-time thing for you?
No. I've been doing that. I've been doing the acting since '97. I've been taking it a lot more serious now. Just planting fully planting my feet into the ground. I'm taking off with it. Of course, out with the music and whatnot. I'm actually working on my own documentary right now called The Day of the Life. You know what I mean? So like I said, there's a lot of things in the works. A lot of cool ventures. That's going to be up coming on the horizon, man. So I tell everybody, stay tuned to my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, my website, judahpriest.com, and everything. You know what I mean? Because there's definitely a lot of things that's in the works.
And also, Judah, quickly, this is the time in the interview right before I wrap things up, man, that I give a chance for the individual that does slide into the radio station airwaves, just a chance to give, shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to. And I know you just dropped your website, but if you can, would you be able to drop your individual social media handles? That way our listeners can make sure they follow you all across the board.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I definitely got to shout out to my 144,000 chosen few family. Shout out to Supreme Resurrected, Fire Nation, Lights Out, Wordplay, A Game, Grand Centennial, Smooth Mass Beats, Father Time, Nova, King Flow, you know what I mean? Bully Boy, shout out to all my Wu-Tang family members that's out there, Brooklyn Zoo, Buddha Monk, all my Killer Army family, you know what I mean? Capadonna, everybody, man, shout out to Wu Syndicate too, you know what I mean? And Timbo King, we got some things in the work on that front too, so, keep your eyes peeled for that, you know what I mean? And shout out to Outlaw Radio for having me on right now, you know what I mean? So shout out to all the fans, whether you know me or you don't know me, you know what I mean? I just thank y'all for the love and the support, you know what I mean? It's because of y'all that I keep doing this thing.
And I got to say, first and foremost, Judah, thank you so much, man, for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening and sliding into the 97.7 FM airwaves, man. It definitely has been an honor and most definitely a privilege, man. And hopefully down the line we can make this happen again sometime soon.
Hey, I'm available. I'm available whenever you're ready. And big shout out to my brother Blacksmith, One Lock, One Lock, INC, you know what I mean? That's my brother. That's day one, right there. You know what I mean? But yeah, son, I'm available whenever you need me. I'm around.
Hey, man, sounds like a plan. Anything you need radio-wise as well, you already know how to get a hold of me, man, so don't hesitate to reach out. You definitely have a home here at 97.7.
Oh, and I appreciate you, Lord. We'll talk.
Hey, man, most definitely have yourself a wonderful night out there, man. Definitely enjoy your Tuesday night. We definitely shall talk again soon.
For sure. Peace, God.